As well as having the ability to reveal our ancestry, one of the biggest surprises that comes from DNA testing is the discovery of unknown family members. 62-year-old Janet has always wondered if analysing her DNA might reveal a mystery from her father's past.
Hi, Janet.
Hiya.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, you got it.
A bit of everything. Well, listen, thank you so much for agreeing to meet me here. So tell me why you're keen to take a DNA test.
My dad was a soldier in World War II, and he was a prisoner of war in Austria. When I was about 9 or 10, my mum and dad have some friends round, and they're just chatting. Then one of the guests says to my dad, "What's this, Danny? What's this I hear that you've got a daughter in Austria?"
The pal said that to your father?
Yeah. My ears just kind of prick up.
Of course.
I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Wow, really? And then, from what I remember, these people are just kind of like almost ejected from the house. It's sort of like, time to leave, here are your coats, and then that's it. I think that I must have gone upstairs to tell my sister Elizabeth this story, never mentioned it to either of my parents.
You never, ever asked them?
Not until I was about 52.
So decades later?
Yeah. My mum would have been in her 80s and sort of more or less like, you better ask her before she dies, because my dad had died.
What was her response?
Well, I think I must have gone back to being that little girl again, like, Mum, and, you know, I've got something to ask you. And she immediately sort of like, you know, went quite rigid, and she just really didn't want to discuss it at all. That, to me, was enough confirmation that it's true.
She didn't deny it?
No, she didn't deny
But
it.
she didn't confirm it?
I didn't think that my parents were particularly secretive. My dad was always quite open. He used to talk about experiences in the past, his experiences in the war. He used to entertain us with different stories, but never touched on the fact that he had a child in Austria. His stories would say that he escaped the prisoner of war camp many times and was recaptured many times. But the story that stands out most, on one of my dad's escape missions, there was a countess in this castle out in Austria. And at some point, the countess hid my father in a big laundry basket when the Nazis were coming to look for him. So, me as the little kid, I viewed this as a totally romantic liaison, and as a result, there was a child that was born.
So it's your belief that your father met somebody prior to him meeting your mum, and then your half-sister would have been Austrian, presumably?
Yeah. You know, there's nobody to check my facts. So my imagination was able to run wild and make a story fit my fantasy. But I think there are elements of it that are fact.
I suppose the obvious question is, if he was a prisoner of war, how has he found the opportunity or the time to meet a woman, establish a relationship and have a baby?
You imagine people to be just locked up in a prisoner of war camp, not being able to go out, but I understand that he was actually working on the land because he used to talk about picking potatoes. I mean, my dad was a bit of a flirt anyway.
But I so get how you've got here. You were a child. You're just trying to join the dots because you're not privy to any other information. Do you ever think, if I hadn't have been downstairs at that very moment, I wouldn't have overheard what I did? I'd be none the wiser.
You know, I could have just spent the whole of my life never knowing the possibility of having another sibling.
How does your sister Liz feel about all of this?
Neither of us, neither me or my sister, subsequently asked my mum anything more about it. You know you weren't supposed to know, so you kind of like collude with that secret.
The narrative that Janet and I have developed has come from the black and white stories that were told by our father, and they were coloured in our imaginations. Is it just our childhood fantasy that's driving this forward? Because this is something that Janet thought she heard. Did she really hear it? Where is the truth in all of this?
Janet and her sister Liz are hoping that taking a DNA test might be able to answer the questions they've had since childhood.
Come on in. Have a seat.
Thanks.
It's lovely to meet you.
Really lovely to meet you too.
So how can I help you?
Our question is about a half-sister that we think we have, and we'd like to find her.
What do you think the circumstances are around how this half-sister, came to be?
Our dad was a prisoner of war in Austria, and he escaped many times. So that's where we presume that there was a relationship.
It sounds like you've got little bits of information that are allowing you to sort of build a picture. But have you got any other information? Have you got a name?
No.
Date of birth?
No.
Okay.
It could have been anything
Nothing.
from any time in the 1940s, really.
There were 170,000 British soldiers taken as prisoner of war by the Germans and the Italians during World War II. It's a period of huge population movement. So in some ways, it's not surprising that you don't have information. What I do have to say is that I'm concerned that actually this is quite a long shot. And there's two reasons for that. So the first of these is that DNA testing in Europe is just not that popular. In fact, in France, it's actually illegal. You can get fined.
Oh, really?
Really. The other thing with your particular case is it will specifically have to be her or a child, a grandchild, a close relative like that, who has already taken a DNA test and is in one of these databases to be able to find a match. So it is a long shot. Are you still happy to proceed, knowing that we might not be able to answer your question?
Yeah, definitely.
Very much so.
That's worth that, that chance.
Absolutely.
Churi and the team will now compare Janet and Liz's genetic code against the 30 million people already on worldwide DNA databases, hoping to find out if their half-sister really exists. Liz and Janet are yet to receive the results of their DNA test. They're hoping to discover if they have an unknown sister in Austria.
Pick it up. Oh, no, don't give it Arch. Don't give it Arch. Remy, no!
Family is important to me. From the moment that I heard that I had a half-sister in Austria, she became my sister. Part of my family, my unspoken family.
We've left it a very long time to start searching for this potential sister. Not only would it give us a sibling, but actually it would help us to understand and know more about our father. A father who had another life before we knew him.
I think there's Dad again.
There's this good one of him when they went to Buckingham Palace to the garden party.
He was absolutely loved all of that dressing up, didn't he?
That reminds me of how he was later on.
He became so silent. Totally, totally introverted and barely spoke, did he? It's so sad.
I think he did go into a decline, and I wonder whether what he'd experienced in his past life was becoming to maybe play on his mind more, that actually he could have, he should have, you know, all of those things, and there's an element of regret there.
Regret, yeah.
Is it something that I've pieced together these pieces of information because
And made
something up as a 9-year-old?
I think that we wanted to believe in it, like a fairy story, like the stories that he told us about so many things, that it could be true.
For the past 50 years, Janet and Liz have wondered if they might have a secret sister. Today, they're meeting Chori to finally find out the truth.
It's lovely to see you again.
Lovely to be here.
Great to see you too.
Nice to see you. So, when you came to see me the first time, you had a question about whether or not you had a half-sister. And I remember you saying the reason why you thought this might be was because you'd heard little bits of family stories, and there was a story that he may have left a daughter behind. DNA was really the only way that we could try and answer this question. I really, really felt like this was going to be a long shot. I'm so pleased to tell you I was totally wrong.
Oh, wow.
I uploaded your DNA to one of the databases, and immediately I could see you had a half-sister.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Gosh. That's so exciting.
Her name is Renata.
Oh my goodness.
She was born in Austria in early 1946.
I didn't think I was going to cry.
That's just, it's mind-blowing actually that you've been able to find that much information. I just can't believe that.
She was not a countess. I know you had this wonderful,
Doesn't
amazingly
matter.
romantic story.
It really doesn't matter.
The way that they must have met was the fact that, you know, you have prisoners of war who are also working as forced labor with the local population. We think that's the most likely way that they met each other. You have got your big sister.
And she's still alive.
She is alive and well.
That is so amazing. That's wonderful. So we have got a big sister. Big sister. It'd be so lovely if someone was looking for us as well.
Absolutely. I'm going to hand you over to Stacey, who will give you more information.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, thank you, Sam.
Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
So we're very grateful for the work you've done on our behalf. It's been a long time waiting. And we'd have never done it on our own, so thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
How you doing?
Oh, gosh. Lovely to see you, Stacey.
Likewise, get comfy.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, you're good, good.
It's a
Lovely
lot,
to
isn't
see
it?
you. It is a
Likewise.
bit.
So, you've got a big sister.
Yeah.
You were absolutely right.
Being told without one doubt.
That she's there. And she's still alive.
I mean,
That's what's so remarkable.
From being quite young, you know, 9 or 10, and not really knowing whether what I heard was true, to have it confirmed that it isn't a story I've made up, it's real, it's true, and she's here.
would you like to see a photo of your sister?
Oh my goodness, yes! Oh, God.
I'm so lucky I get to do this. Right. So this is a photo of your sister when she was tiny. That's Renata.
Oh, gosh. Look at those eyes. They're Dad's eyes, aren't they? Look. Her hair looks like mine when I was little. Yeah. She looks familiar. Very familiar.
Would you like to see another one?
Yeah. Please.
This was your sister in her 20s.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful, isn't she?
Look at that.
So glamorous.
Yeah. So glamorous.
She looks the part, doesn't she?
She really does. Wow. Fantastic.
She asked me to just share one more thing with you. So I'm just going to hand this over. This is a video from your sister.
Oh.
With her daughter, Claudia.
Hallo, mein Name ist Renate und ich freue mich sehr, dass ich erfahren habe und ich so viel Freude und irgendwie Tränen. Und ich habe sehr, sehr lange, mein ganzes Leben lang immer wissen wollen, wo ich herkomme, wer mein Vater ist. Ich bin sehr neugierig auf meine neue Familie.
That's amazing.
I am speechless. That's just incredible.
She's been wanting to know who her father is for most of her life. So you mustn't underestimate what you've done. You know, if you hadn't have reached out, there's a real possibility she'd never have known.
No.
She's so excited to meet you both.
Well,
Genuinely excited.
Yeah, well, I think we're both
Yeah.
genuinely excited. We'll be booking a flight to Austria as soon as.
It's a lovely story.
It is really an amazing story. It's an amazing story, and it's our story,
I know.
which is incredible.
Ich habe nicht mehr gedacht, dass ich etwas herausfinde über meinen Vater. Für mich bedeutet es einfach, jetzt in meinem Alter das noch erleben zu dürfen, dass ich meine beiden Halbschwestern kennenlernen darf und auch von meinem Vater noch etwas mehr erfahre. Ja, und heute freue ich mich, dass ich hier sein kann und meine Schwestern.
Since I was 9 years old, I waited for this day to meet my sister. And finally, it's going to happen.
Janet and Liz are meeting Renata at the palace their father told them about as children.
I'm very excited, but also a little bit nervous.
Hello. Hey! Hello! It's a very nice day to see you. Oh, God. Hello. Liz and Janet.
Renata.
This is
So
very,
good to
very
see you.
nice. I am so happy. So more. So lovely.
I know, so lovely. You are sister.
Yes. Du bist sehr groß, aber ich bin little.
You have been in our hearts and in our minds for 50 years.
But you are your father's daughter.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Would you like to see a photograph?
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah. This is good.
You can see his face is the same
Yes.
shape, the cheeks.
Das Foto bedeutet mir sehr viel Und emotional bin ich so berührt. This is my father. This is my dad.
Yes. And you are our sister.
Ja, und my two sisters.
Yes.
Janet and Liz.
Yes.
Es ist ein Beginn einer neuen Familie.
We've waited so long to see you.
Ja.
Yes. This is the beginning of a new adventure. A future together.